This is Matt from Wrestling Unlimited. Welcome to Q&A 30.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, welcome to Q&A number 30, the unprecedented 30th Q&A here at the Wrestling Unlimited YouTube channel, the Unlimited Facebook page, and the Unlimited One Twitter page. I'm Matt Meffy, being joined by this guy. Some of you, well, you never did a review other than the Rumble review that I wanted you to. So none of you know this guy. His name is Dylan Messerschmidt, but he goes by the name of Cowbell. He's from Westchester University. He's not single.
Nope.
Sorry. I know a lot of you were wondering. But anyway, he's here to help me with this Q&A today. Unprecedented 30th Q&A.
Congratulations.
Thank you for all my 28 subscribers. I have more Q&As than I have subscribers. How sad. But yeah, this is the NXT-themed Q&A. In the description box down below will be details on how you can submit questions for the next Q&A, and it will also include a link to his Facebook group, Promo Wrestling Summit. Ready?
Thank you. I didn't know you were going to plug my stuff.
Yeah, I'll plug it. Why not? People want a promo.
Cool.
Do they really?
No.
Probably not.
Once I get there, they'll realize I don't want to.
Yeah. Let's start off NXT themed with Tyler Harper. Besides the main event, what will be the match of the night at TakeOver Toronto?
Personally, for me, it's going to be the NXT Tag Title match, 2 out of 3 falls. DIY versus The Revival. I very much like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and I do not like The Revival one bit. They are amazing performers, but I love to hate them, and I just really, really want to see them get their comeuppance, and I just hope this is it.
For me, it's the other tag match, but I'll also agree with the 2 out of 3 falls. Who will be the next number 1 contender for the NXT Championship?
Smart money's probably on Bobby Roode.
It's a smart way to go for it, yeah.
He gets amazing reactions. He looks like $1 million every time he goes out with his shiny robe on. Mm-hmm. And the guy can go, you know?
If I had to name another guy, maybe Austin Aries?
Maybe. I think it depends on how much he's healed up.
Yeah.
And if they're going to have him do something with Roddy Strong.
Yeah, I think you're going to probably need to build up Strong a little bit before you just push him right away.
They need to get him familiar with the audience. It's not going to take long. He's so good.
Yeah, because I remember I was looking back at bits and clips of one of the NXT shows a couple weeks ago, and when Aries got introduced, he got a huge pop, and then when Strong got introduced, it was so. Yeah,
he was a very big star in PWG and ROH, but I think Aries was a bit of a different situation because he was a star in ROH years ago, but he was in TNA before he went to NXT, and I mean, it doesn't matter what you think about NXT. A large portion of that audience is probably the WWE audience is probably still somewhat familiar with NXT.
Yeah.
You know, I mean not NXT with TNA because they were on TV, national TV only a couple years ago. You know.
Very true. Can anyone beat Asuka, or do you see her pulling a Paige and dropping the title to go straight to the main roster?
I don't see anyone who can beat her right now. So they really might do something. I don't think have they done that before, but they're just all right, your time here is your time here's done.
Your time here's done. Just go.
Off you go.
You're moving up.
Take the title from them. Have they done that yet?
No. I mean Owens, but he took the title with him.
Yeah, and he did eventually lose it.
Well, Bayley.
No, Bayley lost to Asuka. She lost the belt to Asuka.
Yeah, and then it took her a while to come up. All right. No, I don't think they did.
Well, that could be the route that they're taking.
True. You had the chance with Nia Jax, and then Asuka won. So.
Yeah.
How depressed will you be? Which is kind of funny, because Nia Jax, you got this big bad biatch, and then you have her losing to Bayley and then Asuka.
Yeah.
And then now she's going to the main roster, and she's dominating the whole women's division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how it works. How depressed will you be when Bobby Roode pulls the ultimate heel move and changes his song?
I'm going to be absolutely devastated. The song is just... That has to be one of the best theme songs that anyone has ever written for a pro wrestler. Just, oh my god, is it appropriate, and it's just an amazing song on its own, and I feel like they're going to do it. I'm just going to be absolutely heartbroken. I'll scream at my TV. I will.
Yeah, it would be the ultimate heel move. If you want it, like I said, we were actually doing our podcast. I mentioned, like, if you want to have an entire arena full of people booing you, just change your theme song, because right now the theme song's more over. Which main roster superstar would benefit from a trip down to NXT? Back down to NXT?
I think the popular pick would be Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in NXT all that long anyway, and then his time there was pretty good. Like, people were enjoying his stuff.
His time was really short.
Yeah, it was.
It's like
it was
strange. He debuted in Brooklyn, the first Brooklyn.
Yeah, and then
his last match wasn't at Dallas?
He was gone shortly after NXT Takeover. No, it couldn't have been Takeover Respect. He was there a lot longer after that, but
yeah, I think
was he there the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think his last show was Dallas, but even the rest of the year, it was literally only September through December, and then Dallas was in March.
Yeah.
So he wasn't there that long at all.
No.
Or was it April? I don't know. But something like that. I know it was Mania weekend. Baron Corbin?
As far as, like, I think he's a slightly different situation, just because, like, nothing that they're doing with Apollo Crews is, like, sticking at all. Have they even tried anything? I don't watch SmackDown enough to know.
Not that I know of.
Like, Baron Corbin, I mean, they're trying a lot with him, and to varying degrees of success, if you ask me.
His last feud in NXT was Apollo Crews. His only feud on SmackDown has been with Apollo Crews. You need to fix Baron Corbin. You need to do something with him. Because he's got the look.
Yeah.
He's got it. I'm just saying. Walter Main, who do you see being the guy that dethrones Nakamura?
Oh, man. Again, I mean, Bobby Roode wouldn't be a bad option. And then again, Austin Aries is right behind him.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I could see Eric Young doing it with Sanity.
Build up Sanity a little bit more, yeah.
I could see that happening.
I could see that too.
And again, I'm such a fan of Roderick Strong. That match would be stellar.
And who do you see being the next indie guy to make the move to NXT?
The next indie guy, well, I mean, it's hard to say because a lot of times people kind of just know. You know, I think it's because, I mean, people's contracts, you know, start running up in one place and then the talks already start. Tommy End has already signed, I think he's pretty much signed his deal. Big Damo from WCPW, What Culture Pro Wrestling, is the next guy to go over, which good for him.
The guy I'm hoping for the most is Jay Lethal.
Yeah, I don't know what Jay Lethal's status currently is with ROH. I don't think they have anything too major lined up for him right now. I don't know if they have him in Survival of the Fittest or not. That's coming up soon, but he could be the next guy. Other than that, I really can't think of who else they would have. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr., they offered him a contract before the Cruiserweight Classic was done, and he turned it down or said something like that. Said he wanted to travel. He wanted to travel more. He wanted to get more well-rounded. You know, he had other experiences he wanted to get to first.
It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and he was PWG champion at the time. So.
True.
So I don't really blame him. So, I mean, that could clear up and he could go back and give that another
In
try.
a way, you can look at him, you can look at what he did and say, like, you know, it takes a while to get to the WWE level.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But I mean,
I understand that.
Yeah, he's without a doubt a world-class talent. He does things that other people just can't do. So
Yeah,
I
I've
feel
seen
like
some
the
of his
doors.
work.
I feel like the door's going to be open for him for a while.
Speaking of Tommy Yen, Dylan Rumor, who will Tommy Yen's first match be against?
I have no idea. They have.
No way, Jose.
They tend to give those big guys matches that are like. They have them work with guys that like everyone knows like they're gonna put on a good match, but like it's pretty clear they're gonna win. So it's probably gonna be one of the guys on the mid card in NXT, whoever that is at the time, because they always have people coming through, you know, and moving around. So whoever it is, they're gonna be leaving with a whole bunch of bruises because Tommy End hits really, really hard.
Agreed. Matthew Mullins. Will Bobby Roode ever be NXT champion before he debuts on the main roster? And a question that I'll add is, will he be champion on the main roster?
I think he's going to be NXT champion because again he has like everything that they're looking for, and then he has a super over gimmick and theme song.
That
So I think there's no reason to not have the belt on him. I think he will lose it before he goes to the main roster, though.
I think so, too. Well, you talk about having the look. The same could be said if he went to the main roster.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, once in a while we've seen him again with Apollo Crews. I think sometimes Vince just says, "I want that guy now," and that's it.
He's not ready now.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah, so
and with Cruz, it's taken a lot of time, and that's because you don't feature him right. I mean,
Cruz
the guy
is considerably younger than Bobby, though.
The guy just jobbed to Kurt Hawkins. I mean, come on. Apollo Crews jobbed to Kurt Hawkins.
Oh my God, the guy that we watched mess up the running dropkick on main event.
Oh man!
SmackDown.
Well, no, it was actually the dark match before main event.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
You're not even the curtain jerker for SmackDown or main event. No, you're the pre-show to main event.
Yeah,
that is sad.
And
his pay-per-view promo was hysterical.
Was it bad?
This Thursday on SmackDown Live, I'm going to be competing in a match.
Oh, so he's actually funny?
Trying to be.
Trying to be? Okay. Well, yeah, I won't get my hopes up for Kurt Hawkins then.
I'll say it like this, guys. It's Kurt Hawkins. I've seen better. I've also seen worse. Kevin Nguyen. Ugh, that guy. Can No Way Jose continue his popularity?
Yeah, I think so, because he's a super solid worker. You're not going to mix him up with anyone. The dude has a great build to him, and then he just has that crazy hair. And everyone said, oh, he has a dancing gimmick, and we all know how those are looked at in wrestling. But I mean, he pulls it off, and he's liked, and he's still taken seriously. I don't see any reason why people would turn on him, you know?
I mean, look at New Day. Look at when they started. Everyone hated them.
Because they thought they were going to be generic.
They thought they were going to be generic, and then they became the most entertaining part of the show.
Yeah, anything but.
And Enzo and Cass, the same thing. Like, their gimmick may be corny, but it's funny, and it works. So, No Way Jose, it can work. I'm sure eventually it'll get to, like, the New Day level of, starting to get stale.
They're still not stale to me.
They're getting there. It's definitely not there yet, but their shtick is starting to get a little bit old. Just a little bit. What else? Brian Culinary, Buckshot. Match you're looking forward to the most. Kind of answered that earlier.
Yeah.
Do you think Nakamura is a safe worker?
Yes, Buckshot. He's a safe worker.
And thoughts on James Storm's 2 matches in NXT? They happened.
I didn't see. When were they?
I don't remember.
Because I do remember before he signed another deal with TNA, he had matches there. I didn't see them because it was another one of those deals where they brought them down just to work, like, I guess just that night or whatever. They did the same thing with Eric Young.
I was so excited about Storm coming to WWE because I thought that his gimmick would be different than pretty much anything WWE. I don't really think WWE's done a lot of country gimmicks. Not a lot of them.
Since Jeff Jarrett.
I mean, you've seen Jeff Jarrett. You've seen like
Jimmy Wang Yang.
Oh God, you've seen like Cade and Murdoch. Rest in peace, Lance Cade.
Yeah.
And I actually saw. Remember when Trevor Murdoch started to do the singing gimmick? I was there for the first time he sang at the Izod Center.
Look at you.
Yeah, that was fun. Not really. Will Angel Ernest be appearing at NXT? Will NXT be the better show in Toronto, or will Survivor Series be better? Depends on how you define better.
Well, I mean,
depends on your
it's
preference, I guess.
Yeah, it might come down to taste, but I mean, you look at the two shows. I mean, they're fairly different shows.
Yeah.
At Takeover, Toronto is like,
it's
varied. It's varied. There's a lot of different stuff going on there, and then Survivor Series is your sort of, like, it's got a theme
Battle
to it.
for brand supremacy.
Yeah, it's got a theme to it. There's
first
a lot
time
of
in 11
matches.
years they've done that.
Yeah, it's a lot of matches that are similar in format. So I mean, all the matches could be good on both shows, but I mean, fundamentally they're fairly different.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it might come down to taste. Takeover might have an advantage just because there's more variation to it, and again, WWE hasn't done anything like this with Survivor Series for quite a long time.
Yeah.
They weren't always able to pull it off. So.
I'll say it's tough because the one thing I could say about Takeover, it's going to feel like a different show, which is always good with NXT because they just feel different. But I could say the same with Survivor Series because they're starting to actually make it a big deal. They made it a 4-hour show, which I absolutely despise. They made it...
I'm going to be so tired.
They made it a big weekend, which includes NXT TakeOver Toronto, and it includes the Raw afterwards in Toronto, and I think SmackDown too? I could be wrong. Because they taped Raw for London.
Yeah.
While SmackDown went... Well, they didn't go live. They taped them too. I could be wrong about that. But...
It's a lot of wrestling.
It's a lot of wrestling for 2 days.
Yeah,
for 3 days.
You get tickets to all of them, you're going to be all wrestling down.
Exactly, which is why I think Angel's smart, because she's only going to TakeOver.
Angel can't afford anything other than
that, and it's like, she's complaining, like, why did I go to TakeOver? I don't know, why did you? You bought the ticket.
Because she's not too bright. Because you're not too bright.
Where is Senior Joe?
I ask that question every day, when I wake up and before I go to sleep. He could be anywhere.
Oh, God. Thoughts on Mickie James coming back to NXT, or going to NXT?
I thought it was an awesome surprise.
I thought so, too.
Like,
love Mickie James.
Yeah, it's a face that people can recognize, and when NXT really started picking up momentum, I thought that was an awesome thing that they were doing. When they brought back Brian Kendrick for appearances, and they brought back Rhino. Like, they're faces that... People recognize them. Yeah, they're going to recognize them, and again, I felt like it was one of those things where they're just appearances. There's no commitment. But these are veterans.
It's not like they're gonna be there for the next 5 years.
No,
they could be there for the next couple months.
And they're veterans. They can clearly help out these guys. Yeah. That's what NXT is about, learning.
Especially when you look at the NXT women's division, there's really nobody that's ready. You can argue. What's her name? Ember Moon.
Yeah.
You could argue her.
She hasn't been there long enough.
She has not been there long enough. So you need to build up that women's division. And I think until that women's division is completely built up to face Asuka, you could throw in a Mickie James. You can even go a Trish Stratus out of retirement for one match. What would be wrong with that?
I'd be down with that.
It'd be perfectly fine. And do you think that she will become NXT Women's Champion or not yet? Not at all.
No. I'm pretty sure Asuka's going to flatten her.
It's going to be a competitive match, but I don't see Mickie James winning.
Yeah,
I love Mickie James.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match, but Asuka's going to knock her out.
I mean, I'm excited to see her back. I'm excited to see TakeOver. I'm actually a little bit excited for Survivor Series. just a little bit.
Yeah, I was excited for it even before Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I mean, they're, like I said earlier, they're making it seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's no longer going to be a B show. It's
Yeah.
going to be an A show. And hopefully we, end the year, the last couple pay-per-views on high notes. Because it's been hasn't really been the best of years. I could say it's probably been better than last year, but that's not really saying much.
Well, I'll stand by what I was saying at the beginning of the year. After WrestleMania, again, I wasn't watching SmackDown, and when everything was still one roster, I don't think there was a reason why, but Raw was consistently good.
Yeah.
Pretty much week in and week out. It was great. And then,
but now it's like...
then the brand split happened, and then they did that honeymoon phase that WWE does with everything, where the first week or so was good, and then it went back to being pretty
just
mediocre.
too much inconsistency. And you need consistency.
Yeah, which is what it's what I see on Raw. I've seen that for the last 3 months now.
And it's what leads to these ratings. Like you're getting 1.8s and 1.7s. There were times when Raw was in the 3s and 4s, and even some cases 7s and 8s, and now they're in the 1s. Like they're not even reaching SmackDown levels of bad. They're reaching TNA levels of bad, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, but I mean, for what it's worth, from what I've heard, again, I don't take the time to watch both shows, but I've heard that SmackDown has been consistently better.
I mean, there's SmackDown starting to show some glimpses of, why are you doing this, or what are you doing here, or they're starting to show some flaws.
Yeah.
But I think seriously, overall, SmackDown's been the better show.
Yeah, you can see why Daniel Bryan is still loved.
Yeah,
by
Shane
everyone.
McMahon's still loved.
Yeah.
Did the stuff that they were doing for a while with the Miz.
Rhino and Slater are great. The Miz.
As much as it bugs me, James Ellsworth.
The James Ellsworth thing has everyone going crazy.
Everyone's talking about the chinless wonder, and here I am with my double chins.
So that's, I mean, if it's working, it's working, and it doesn't hurt that the guy on top is the best worker in the whole world.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We were kind of talking about this on the show, so I'll end with this. From NXT arrival, so February 2014 onwards until today, what is your Mount Rushmore of NXT matches? And then I'll add another one after this.
Well, I feel like I'm like the worst person to ask about this.
Yeah, I know.
I've only been watching NXT since Takeover Respect from October 2015, and then I would watch it sparingly from then on. So I haven't caught not even close to as much as I should have. But however, from what I have seen, I would put on there Zayn and Nakamura.
Yep.
God, that was incredible. I would probably put on there Gargano and Ciampa versus the Revival in NXT Brooklyn.
Was that the one Walter cried?
That was the one Walter cried. Yeah. And
we cry over wrestling.
And I cried, and I keep crying about the finish, which nobody else seems to mind. But it bothered me, the fact that all he had to do was lean.
NXT booking decisions don't really bother me.
Well, no, it wasn't his fault. I don't think it wasn't anyone's fault. It's not that the finish was written weird. It's just the way that the match ended.
Was it a botched ending?
Yeah, you could say that. I feel like nobody. I don't know.
See,
something only I was complaining about. Here's what happened. They were working Gargano's knee for like the last half of the match, and then it was just Gargano, and he was in like a knee bar, but like he was so close to the ropes. I feel like that he wasn't supposed to, but he was so close to the ropes that all he had to do was like literally he would just leaned over and grabbed it. It would have been a rope break, and the match could have kept going, but he tapped out. And people say, well, his knee was that banged up. Well, you want to be NXT Tag Champs or not, man?
Yeah.
So that's
2.
Yeah, but the match was phenomenal. The third one I would put in there would probably be either of the Bayley and Sasha matches. The one from Brooklyn, like lit the wrestling world on fire almost. People were like, holy crap.
And then I think the one at Respect topped it.
Yeah, and then the one at Respect, that was
phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing. And then,
So those will be your 4, or
if you want to, I mean, if you could honestly, for me, like the Bailey and Sasha matches were like were interchangeable, especially because like one had a stipulation on top of it, so
those and one of the main events at a big show.
Yeah. So and then the other one, maybe Zayn and Owens, because that they did the smart thing and they appealed to everyone who watches the indies by just
which I'm worrying that they're gonna do soon again.
Well,
they've been with Owens and Rollins.
Yeah, if they
Steen versus Tyler Black.
If they overplay that match, that's just their own fault.
Yeah,
because it worked well up until Battleground, and if they would have just left it alone for
just
a year,
end it there. That's it.
Like, I think it can be one of those matches that they can fall back and rely on. Much like
no,
they
they
should
can.
have done
Like,
with Punk and Bryan.
I was about to say that, yeah. And even Punk said that.
Yeah.
Like, have Punk and Bryan be those 2 guys on the roster that they work completely separately, but if you need something to do with both of them, just put them together.
Yeah. I think it could be that. They're
just
running
don't give
the risk
them...
they're running the risk of it just being like, okay, why are you doing this again?
Yeah. Just don't do a stupid storyline like the AJ Lee crap.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We really don't. Although I will admit that their match at Money in the Bank, which I think was like an Extreme Rules match or a no DQ match.
I can't remember.
Was really damn good.
Well, of course.
Punk and Bryan.
Yeah.
If you love in-ring quality, when you put those 2 together, magic's gonna happen.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't get anything better from 2 other people in that company's history.
Yeah. For me, Zayn Cesaro from Arrival. Zayn Neville. Was that from Rival? Or was that wasn't from Respect, no.
No. I don't remember which one that was. That might have been Arrival.
No, I think from Rival. There was Arrival and there was Rival.
Of course they would confuse me like that.
I don't get it either. This one's tough. I mean,
I know.
You named the ones I wanted to use. The 4-way match, which was Tyson Kidd's last chance.
Yeah.
Which was mentioned earlier on our podcast. And, man.
Yo, those Joe and Balor matches were pretty banging.
I'll go with their cage match.
That was a pretty crazy match.
Yeah.
And I liked the one in the one in Dallas was the one where Joe's eye got messed up, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't the one in Dallas where Balor came out with the chainsaw?
With the chainsaw, yep.
The one in
that was an awesome entrance.
The one in London was when he
No, it was Dallas.
The one in Dallas was when he also came out in blue. Balor, which was weird. It was weird seeing like all of his red and white, and then add blue.
I still, to their credit, they kept the breaks in the match was like distracting and like kind of killed it. But I mean, I thought as soon as like they let them go again, like they killed it. Like they made a point of making up for it. So I really liked that match when a lot of other people didn't.
And then finally, again, this has only been around for 4 years. It's only been a big deal for 2.
Yeah.
Your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers from NXT.
Oh God. You could put the 4 horsewomen on there.
Yeah, that could be your own Mount Rushmore, honestly.
But
if I had to narrow it down,
it would probably be Balor.
I'll say
because he was that champion.
Or you pick one.
So long. Okay.
So you pick Balor. Sami Zayn.
Have to be Sami. I'd say Bailey.
I'll go.
Again, she was the people's champ.
I'll go Sasha.
See, now here's where you really run into the problem.
Yep.
Oh, you know what?
I love questions that require a lot of thought.
No, you know what? I'll go with Bo Dallas. Because God, was he good.
I'll give you that one, honestly.
God, was he good.
Maybe Neville. Put Neville up there.
Yeah, I think Neville belongs in that category. Oh,
You also can put a tag team if you want.
A tag team.
So a tag team can count for one.
Well, I mean, there's so many that have like the Wyatts were Rowan and Harper were pretty cool. The Ascension, I'd say the Ascension.
The Ascension, yeah. I'll go Enzo and Cass. Why not? You can obviously throw in even though he's been the Vaudevillains, yeah. Even though he hasn't really been there for that long, you can also say Samoa Joe.
Yeah, he's been so good.
A little too early to say Nakamura, but he'll definitely
much longer.
He'll be up there.
Yeah, a little bit longer, and you'll be able to say
same thing with Rude and Aries and guys like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We went over a half hour. This was the longest Q&A I've ever done.
Sure.
So, thank you, Cowbell, for coming by and doing this, and then thank you to whoever watches this. And yeah, I'll be back Monday with Q&A 31. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet.
30 more, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to 60. Thanks, guys.